have no problem filling you up with crap if you want to be. It's fun. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a trickster, and I'm fully admitting that. I don't want to manipulate you in the traditional sense. I just want to send you on a wild goose chase, a big circle, and eventually you'll be like, man, this doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, I told you. And these people, and so the people that find this out and know it to be true can be quite dangerous. I mean, there's good reason why these things are illegal, not because they're harmful. I mean, they're some of the most non-toxic things out there that you could take. Psychoactive stuff, anyway. No, it's because they make you have funny ideas. It's because they dissolve boundaries. That's what they do. And if you take a sufficient amount, all of your boundaries will dissolve, and you will see that it really is all one. What am I, a damn hippie? That doesn't make a lick of sense if you think about it. All one. All of what? It's just one. Told you, man. Walking contradiction. They may make you realize that authority is not real. On whose authority do they have the authority? And tell me this, who polices the police? Nobody. Any government is a business, simply put. And they have a gang that works for them to make sure their ends are met. You can't show me a government that isn't corrupt. They all are, because there's a bunch of damn humans in them. And you know how awful humans are. I know I do. And you will see, if you haven't already, that they have nothing to do, most of them. They're bored. All right, now stay with me. Here, in this moment. Not that moment, but this one. The one that's always here. Okay, I hope that we can see now at least some of the differences between our two parties here. We have Steve Company, and we have Spirit Lizard, which goes by Rom Spirit Lizard, because Ram Dass, another charlatan apparently, just like I am, apparently made him have a spiritual awakening, whatever the hell that is. Anyway, he adopted that name pretentiously and of his own accord. Anyway, we have Steve Company here. He says, I ain't gay, don't masturbate. Another walking contradiction, just like all of us. I ain't gay neither. And, you know, he also thinks about the damn Jeep and cleaning the guns. Alright? So now, oh, and also if it ain't red, I'd rather be dead. Right? So now if we come over here and look at Spirit Lizard, you know, as a feminist, it would be entirely inappropriate for him to make a woman do anything, including orgasm. He'd love to go have a yerba mate, whatever the fuck that is, and watch some slam poetry, whatever the fuck that is, and cha bra preach. You know, he says shit like that. Let's put a few things in between them and see what they have to say. Let's say we have a point between them. Well, Spirit Lizard might say, well, that's a point. And Steve's going to be like, no, it's not. I'll never agree with you. That's a dot. That's a period. That's a speck. Anything but what he calls it, right? Let's say that we have two dots. Well, now that's two specks or two whatever, and that's two dots to him. Let's say one of them is moving. Well, obviously, he's going to say it's moving this way. It's coming towards me. And he's going to say, no, it's not. It's exactly the opposite. It's moving away from me. Let's say that like a figure like this exists between them. Well, Steve Company might look at that and say it's a 6. He's going to look at it and say that it's a 9. And let's imagine that either you or I was walking along a path and just so happened to see this nonsense taking place from a different angle. And you say, well, this doesn't make any sense. It's a nonsensical symbol. What the hell does that mean? It's like a sideways G. And then you would say, well, it's not moving toward me or away from me. It's not moving toward or away from anybody. It's just going to the left. And so tell me, who's correct? Everything is relative, depends on perspective, and I refuse to believe there's any such thing as absolute, true knowledge. And so, I am forced to reach the conclusion that knowledge doesn't exist, or at the very least, it's a false idea. And at the very, very, very least, it's unreliable. What the hell do you mean you know something? And who are you? And how do we define something? Yeah, I thought so. If you were thoroughly confused right now, good. You're not supposed to get any of this stuff. That was my whole point in the beginning. And when they get bored, they like to stir up a little shit, a little drama, right? I'm not saying I'm immune to that. I mean, I've been known to stir a pot now and again, and I know that I'm guilty of that. And there really does exist a Steve Cuntney. He's got the last name isn't quite there. I don't know if he watches gay porn or not. I assume he does. But if you ever see this, sir, but playfully. I mean, I'm not your mortal enemy. I need you in the same way you need me, so I can know who I am, and so you can know who you are. But you're still a cocksucker. With, I don't know, a very basic level of respect, certainly not love. So, with respect, about that much, thank you. But yeah, you have all these people out here that don't have anything to do, don't want to take charge of their life, have no skills, have no talents, could have developed them, but still refuse to. And so they get bored, and they sit, and they fucking complain all day. Man, I've lived with a couple of those. God have mercy. But there are others. No, there's not. But for the purposes of the game, there are others like us. And Tim Leary said, go find the others. I'd rather not. Seriously, I can see why these things are illegal. Because, as is the common saying, they make people go crazy. Some people don't know what the hell to do with that information. Some people lose their minds and never get them back. These things can quite literally make you go insane. Insane in the traditional sense, not the literal one. Insanity, the definition of insanity, unless I'm wrong, is repeating the same action over and over and over again and expecting a different result. At least that's what I've been told. I don't know. Insanity in this situation is your refusal or inability to accept the cultural story, whatever it is. Inability, unwillingness to follow the group, to stay close enough to the herd, to have the same colored wool. If you don't know what in the hell you're doing, if you don't have the proper training, and don't know what exactly you're getting yourself into. But if you choose to take anything that I'm saying as fact or truth, remember that there is no absolute knowledge. It's relative. I am completely full of crap. I've told you that I don't know how many times. Don't take it on my authority. Take it on your authority. I don't have any. I don't like authority. Okay, so simply put, the word authority is a direct borrowing from Old French, autorité. I'm saying that probably with a Spanish accent. I don't speak French. Which came from the Latin autoritas. Probably saying that wrong as well. Nobody speaks Latin. And this comes from the Latin word auctor, which again I'm saying with a mostly Spanish accent. I think nobody speaks Latin, which meant creator, author, or promoter. And so this in turn comes from the Latin verb. It's derived from the Latin verb augeo, which again I have no idea how that's said. Nobody speaks Latin, which meant to grow or to increase. And etymologically, the word author means somebody who creates or brings forth. In other words, they made it up. And the word authority shares this concept. I mean, it's right there in the word, author. So somebody at some point made this up, everybody agreed to it and went along with it. And so, under the threat of violence and bodily harm and injury, or possibly death, a few wise people said, oh, okay. Wise people. And then the authority, or the authors, or of whatever this is right or wrong, good or bad, either killed, imprisoned, or otherwise silenced anybody with a differing opinion. So what are you going to do? You can't go against the authority. Therefore, it hasn't changed. Man, it ain't nothing against anybody. I just don't trust the motherfucker.